So here I am, sitting, playing the demo for Valor Mortis, when I get a text from my friend, hey, there's a new Marvel Legends live stream. I scream at my wife to get out of the room so I can put on my Spider-Man hoodie and watch it, because somehow I knew. I actually have another video lined up already. It's uploaded and waiting to go live, but this was such a surprise that I figured I'd probably have to do something about it. The Marvel Legends team, well actually Dan yesterday, tweeted out, fuck it, we're going live or something like that. You know, Bill O'Reilly, classic. Saw that and immediately forgot about it. So this was a complete surprise to me. Good job, marketing team.
Let's just chuck these away somewhere.
Woo! Concept art figures. Hey, did anyone watch that video that I made a year ago about the MCU figures and how they should make a concept art series? Use that license that they have, they're paying so much fucking money for?
First up is a concept piece of art that was called Wolverine Pool.
They made a literal Deadpool Wolverine, or they made a literal Wolverine Deadpool. It looks like they're reusing that brown suit Wolverine body. By the way, concept series, great way to reuse sculpts for MCU.
In the middle we have a concept art series of X-Force.
They also reveal an X-Force colored style Deadpool. I don't know if that's reuse. I can't quite tell. I'm not super familiar with the MCU figures. I guess these figures were teased in stop motion animation, but I don't think I ever saw that.
Our first ever Calverine.
Calverine, yeah.
Also a Cavill fan, so.
But we're getting a Calverine. And honestly, they put a lot of work into this for a character that appears on screen for all of like 5 seconds. A few things that I immediately notice. They're using the new cap, the pin shoulders with the cap. And for this figure, they've cut it around the wife beater that he's wearing. So it actually looks like it's going to be an effective piece of articulation. He's going to be able to shrug. He's going to be able to move a little bit forward. There's a surprising amount of deco on this thing. They're using up a lot of their budget for this. The arm hair is great. My wife was sitting behind me when I started watching this, and she was like, I want that one, but I'm not going to get it because I have a rule. No MCU figures, which is going to be a problem in a second here.
First figure that we're talking about is Valentina Allegra de Fontaine.
So we get Elaine from Seinfeld. I never saw this movie. Looks like it's using the Peggy Carter 2-pack body. Good reuse.
Bob was Sentry, and when Bob went bad, Bob became the Void.
Reuse that Sentry body that they made into the Void. And they actually did a lot more than I thought they were going to. I thought it was just going to be a completely black figure, I think like most of us, but there's actually some translucency, at least to the hair and the hands, and obviously the cape. His feet even, his legs. This has got to be one of the cheapest figures. 2 little deco hits for the eyes. The perfect way to reuse a figure. I don't know how strong this 2-pack is going to be. They mentioned that this is not the 2-pack that people were looking for. I'm sure that's a reference to the leaked list, but I can't remember what else there was available. Maybe Ghost? Again, I didn't see the movie. Oh. My Coca-Cola's done.
Just in case fans missed out on the first Spider-Man No Way Home figure.
As a Target exclusive, they're re-releasing that final swing suit. It's got less of that like pearlescent blue and more like almost a classic Spider-Man color. That genuinely looks like Tom Holland. They got his little British cheeks. I'm kind of surprised it's a Target exclusive. This seems like something that they would put in their Evergreen Marvel Studios line. That is going to be a very, very sought after figure. Oh my god, the next reveal is my favorite of this year, probably.
The really exciting figure that I want to bring out, though, is the one and only Green Goblin.
That looks so good. That looks so fucking good. Green Goblin. And they did something clever. They got the Green Goblin look at the beginning of the movie, so they didn't have to license the original Spider-Man movie. But you should. The helmet's a little big, but I think that might be true to the movie. It's also different compared to the actual first Spider-Man movie, including this one. And he's got the fucking green skeleton pumpkin bombs. He actually has boot swivel. That's impressive. So again, my wife is sitting behind me and she's like, oh, I had that toy when I was a kid. Those original Toy Biz Spider-Man figures were some of the first figures that I actually collected consciously. So they had a couple of different versions of Green Goblin. They had one where you could like shake him back and forth. They also had a version that I got multiples of because I kept losing the fucking mask. That was like all articulated like the actual super articulated Spider-Man figure. It wasn't called super articulated. It was like superposable Spider-Man. I still owned all of those up until maybe like 8 years ago. Before the movie even came out, before they were even sought after, I sold them so that I could pay some rent. And the Norman Osborn head. They've got his mouth closed so you don't see his crooked ass teeth. He's got interchangeable hands and like a broken part of his mask. I don't think I really remember that from the movie. I saw the movie in theaters. I own the movie, but I don't want to watch it again because I know I'm not going to like it as much. When I saw it in theaters, I fucking loved it because obviously Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man was back. This is a millennial coded episode.
The two villains that we're talking about here are going to be a classic version of Scorpion and a classic version of Boomerang.
Okay, next two reveals, really, really fucking interesting. I think this is going to be a controversial decision. This is the first time we're seeing this. They're in boxes that are branded Brand New Day. Yeah, this is such a good idea. These are not going to mainline retailers except for Boomerang. I think he's going to Walmart. But like this is setting something up so that we can finally start getting comic book figures that are not in like retro packaging on store shelves again. And the best part is there's no goddamn Bath figure to piss you off. And another thing that I mentioned in that video, I wanted to see them do something a little bit different. I wanted them to completely separate the MCU and comic figures into two separate brands and then sell retailers two waves of figures bundled together. So when they bought Spider-Man Brand New Day figures, for instance, they had to buy a comic wave. But this is actually better. I think this is a better idea. It would also allow them to make characters that they knew were going to be in the movie, but you know, Disney is so fucking tight-lipped about this shit, even with their like retailer partners. I've heard that they won't share like updated concept art with them, so they can't make accurate action figures. And I feel like that kind of violates some kind of license agreement, but whatever. For us, it's going to be annoying to track down, especially that Boomerang.
We have Boomerang inspired by the film.
You know who Boomerang looks like? He looks like Island of the Misfit Toys. What's his name? Charlie in the Box. He looks like fucking Charlie in the Box. Wait, I'm going to look this up. Charlie in the Box. No, he doesn't. What am I saying? Who am I thinking of? It's the elf. I'm thinking of the elf. There's one specific shot where he like smiles in a weird way.
You can see it better. It's hard to see it in package. You can see it as it was inspired for the art on package. So
interesting choice for the art on the back. Scorpion looks so good. He doesn't have that marbled plastic look, and he actually has like his first appearance or classic tail instead of that sort of 90s looking one that was released on the original. They didn't update the sculpt with pinless limbs, which is kind of really disappointing, honestly. But the new heads look great. People are going to complain about the heads still having the green mouth, but that's comic accurate, baby. Yeah, there's a Scorpion on my shelf back there that I think I'm gonna have to sell if he's worth anything.
Was Dr. Doom himself. So
I forgot about this immediately when I saw it. Secret Wars, Doomsday. Dr. Doom, I like the extra deco. Oh, they do cost reduce the Victor head, which by the way was way too big. That was a 7-inch scale head. Come to Walmart. That's how you should do exclusives. Just repaint figures, redeco.
Last seen Doc Samson in 2008, I think, is how long ago.
And then they talk about the recently leaked Doc Samson figure, which from the promotional images looked really weird to me. He looked like he had love handles, which is a little too realistic. Hits too close to home, all right? But he's on a modified version of the Hercules body, the Crossbones upper torso, except they re-sculpted the square neck. The thing about these butterfly joints, they have the ability to make them sit correctly so that they're, you know, in line with the clavicle. And that basically requires like carving out some of the butterfly joint actually, but they didn't do it on this figure. And it just looks like the shoulders are coming out of his rib cage. Also, it makes the shoulders really small. It's It's actually got a wash. That's interesting. But we're still stuck with that crunch and waist swivel. At least on that old... Jeez, at least on that old Hasbro Doc Samson that was released in the Fin Fang Foom wave, that had a diaphragm joint, and a really, really good diaphragm joint from what I remember. Otherwise, they did a good job. I like that modern head. That reminds me of Ed McGuinness, probably based on his artwork too. The classic head looks excellent. He comes with some weird hands. Fists, obviously, which you need. Splayed hand like this, but then he has a gripping hand? What's he gripping? If I were to audit that figure, I'd get rid of those. What would be a good alternative? Maybe an extra head with his sort of cropped looking hair. That's going to be the first of this like throwback Hulk packaging that I think I'm actually going to get. I passed on the others because that Abomination is a popular kit bash, but I was looking for something way more classic. Professor Hulk, what was the other one? Hulk 2099, again, a little too 90s for me. We're past like peak 90s nostalgia. They should be doing early 2000s stuff now.
And that is who? Who do we got here?
They show off Cypher. This is a really boring figure. I really thought, and I think everybody thought, that they were going to include a Cannonball alternate head in this pack, so you'd be forced to buy two. And I know people don't like that, but I think it's a great way to sell figures. They needed to go back to the drawing board with this one. He's got butterfly joints, which means the arms can pop off, not easily, but they can. They should have included like a warlock arm. I would have sacrificed the sword and two of these sets of hands for a warlock, half warlock head. That's one approach they could have done. If they wanted to go, probably the better approach, completely sold out this figure, foregone every other accessory, Cannonball head, Cyclops head, Angel head. Yeah, I would be all over that. Also, the portrait. That's another thing about modern Marvel Legends. The portrait is way too realistic compared to the stylistic body. Even the hair is like a little too stylized for the actual portrait. Who is that? That looks like an actual person and not a comic book character. But you have like one of the best comic artists in the industry who did the original New Mutants comics. How do you say his name? Bill Sienkiewicz, I think, has one of the most unique art styles. And then we get a Cypher that looks like this.
One of the top 3 figures that you guys have been online harassing me about.
Instead of taking that Caliban Wave beast and updating the body for, you know, pinless limbs and everything, they went the route that they probably should have. And they made an all-new figure using the proportions and stylistic design of the X-Men 97 cartoon. However, because it's not based on that old body, I'm not going to get this. What do they change? The butterfly joints are different. They're using the pin and cap. I can see, based on what they actually cut out of the chest, that range of motion is going to be dog shit. Something else they do that is genuinely a huge downgrade. Something that they stopped doing, I don't know how long ago. Rounding off the sculpt on these limbs between like the knees and elbows. But it looks like they took like some kind of divider tool and just cut out the knee from the sculpt and just said, all right, that's good. It comes with an alternate head, and that alternate head looks good. The portraits look good. It's actually stylized. I think a lot of people are going to love this figure, and a lot of people, I don't know how well it's going to sell. It's probably going to sell great. But this won't fit in your comic displays.
Okay, here you go. Here's the tease. Here's one tease. You have another one?
I do.
But this is a great tease. I know exactly what you're talking about here.
Last bit, the teases. They show off a magazine featuring Mary Jane as a fashion model. And I think it might even be the same sculpt, cast in red and printed with a bow. Very 2D. I'm not understanding that. Based on the leaked list, I don't know who actually leaked this one, but I'm pretty sure there was like a Christmas Spider-Man. This is probably teasing that. That's the end of the live stream. It's only about 25 minutes, but these, I swear, these get better and better and better. I really like where Marvel Legends is going. I'm really glad to see that they're, taking steps to actually have like a marketing strategy with these figures. There's nothing like intrinsically tying these comic and movie figures together like a BAF might. You don't have to buy 3 movie figures just to build your armadillo BAF. Inbox collectors, now you're having to deal with comic figures that are branded with MCU movies, but that is a sacrifice that I am willing to make on your behalf, especially because this is going to get comic figures back on store shelves that aren't, on a retro card back, that aren't part of an anniversary collection, that aren't necessarily exclusive. That's the kind of step that they made in 2014 that actually made Legends so popular. Like the video, comment the video, subscribe the video if you want to see videos similar to this one. I have a video that is a sequel to Why Does This Forearm Cut Exist? That blew up like crazy for no reason. I think it's at like 63,000 views. I am not monetized. I'm stuck at step 2. I'm trying to figure that out still. But I think I'm going to post this first. That way I can be maybe a little bit ahead even. So if you are interested in seeing that, subscribe. For the comments, let me know what you think of these reveals. What do you think about this new direction, potentially, for the Marvel Legends line, including comic figures in MCU waves? I didn't even introduce myself. I'm Glen, and this is Super Articulated.
Wake up, little spider, spider, spider. Wake up, wake up. No, you're not dead. Yeah, just paralyzed temporarily.
Face ID doesn't work.